Welcome to Reseller Recap, where we talk all things reselling across multiple platforms. Join us for real-life discussions on how we crush the elusive work-life balance. Grab a coffee and join us now.
Hi guys, welcome back to Reseller Recap. Today we're going to talk about Walmart again, since it's such a hot topic. And the first thing we're going to talk about is performance account health. So on Amazon, it's pretty clear what your account health is and how to keep yourself in good standing. Walmart, it's a little bit in question, and they finally told me the other day it is 100% based on your performance. So under that tab on the left-hand side, performance, those are your metrics, and that is what your account is fully based on, of keeping it open, keeping it running, making money. So Morgan, you want to talk about those categories kind of under performance?
Yes. So first things first is on-time delivery rate. So their definition of that is the percentage of orders delivered on or before the expected delivery dates. However, I have known people to be penalized for orders coming before that date.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Jen, actually, I think you're one of them. You've been a victim.
Yes, I have.
I personally have not, so I don't know how they're gauging that. And if I take that back. I think I was like once or twice, but I opened a case and they descored it. So hopefully they get better at that. But nonetheless, that's what it currently is that your orders that are delivered on time or before the delivery date. And that standard is that it's to be above 95% at all times. The next one is your cancellation rate. So the percentage of orders that you cancel after receiving the order from Walmart. So they want that rate to be below 2%. The next one is valid tracking. This one is interesting. It's the percentage of orders with valid tracking information. However, if you drill down into your valid tracking, you'll see they have no carrier scan, invalid tracking, misleading tracking, late handoff, like different things that affect that. So it's not just that you have the wrong tracking number entered. It could be other things as well. And excuse me, that one has to be above 99%. So they're not playing around.
That one's such a doozy.
Yes.
A doozy. And I told you I had that call with performance, and I was like, please make that down to 90%, because 99 for something that we have zero control for most of
over.
Things. Most of those things we have zero control over. 99 is just so hard to achieve and keep.
Right.
Yeah, it is. And for me personally, where right now I'm at 100, but where mine usually falls is like I will drop a package and not realize it. And then I don't realize until the next morning, and I'm like, shoot. So that late handoff, which is really annoying because it still gets to the customer early or on time, but I still get negatively impacted by it. If it got to them late, I'd be like, okay, I understand, but whatever. Nonetheless, there's bigger fish to fry. The next one is your seller response. So your percentage of how you answer customer messages within 48 hours of receipt. And that one is a little bit frustrating to me because there are things like order cancellations that come into your messages. And when you cancel the order on the order side, it sends the customer a message that you canceled the order, but that doesn't count as a reply to that message. You still have to reply to the order cancellation, letting them know that you canceled it. Otherwise, that will be counted against you. So obviously it's easy to reply to customers, but just keep that in mind because that will affect your score, and that has to be above 95%. And then the last one is your refunds. They want your refunds to be below 6%. And that one is also frustrating because customers will usually pick whatever reason they want as long as they get their money back. And the refunds that are counted against you are like seller responsible. So item damage, incorrect item received, item defective. So those things count against you. And when people go to the Walmart stores to return stuff, or even if they go into the platform to return stuff, they're choosing whatever they think will give them their money back. So that kind of sucks because it can make a huge difference. I usually average around 30% on that one. But it can be difficult, especially during Q4 when there's a lot of orders, to stay below 6% on that.
And
So
so,
those are the seller performance standards. Go ahead, Jen.
yeah, no. So, and then under refunds, remember we had this conversation the other day that depending on if you go in the app to create like a return, or if you go on the desktop or you go in store, there's only so many options.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can't say, I don't want this anymore. And
Yep.
so, and a lot of times that is how customers feel. So they have to choose damage, or they have to choose, lost. And so it messes us up when really there was nothing wrong with the item. We're getting items
Yeah.
back that they're perfectly fine. That it wasn't damaged, but they chose damaged.
Yep.
And so I had that conversation with them too. Like, they really need to make things more streamlined and have the same options across the board, and choose. Sometimes they just change their mind, like
Yeah.
maybe they found it in store and they decided, oh, I paid $22 to have it sent to me, but now I found it in store for $4. I mean, especially because they're brick and mortar, that happens more times than not on Walmart.
Yeah, and I actually had that happen to me. I ordered something online. In the app, it gave me the option for like no longer wanted, da da da, whatever.
Yeah.
But I had decided that I wanted to return it in store. So on the app, you can start your in-store return there and then finish it at the register. But when I got to the register, for whatever reason, the reasons didn't transfer over.
Mm.
And so when I went to go choose the options, you're right, no longer wanted or customer change mind wasn't an option. It was like damaged, defective, and I forget what the other one was. But at the time, not even mine was from Walmart. So like dealing with Walmart versus third party sellers, I feel
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, it's damaged or whatever the reason was, because what else am I gonna do? I can't get my money back. So
Yeah.
I totally understand why some customers do that. Then I think there's the other percentage of customers who are just literally trying to keep the item and get
Yeah.
their money back at the same time.
Yeah.
So but unfortunately, because like you said, they're brick and mortar, I think things don't always translate well between the two.
Yeah.
So
1000. And when you were bringing up the getting in trouble for things getting there early, so that was always
Yeah.
when stuff was getting there like 2 or 3 days early. So that's why I went in and adjusted my shipping template by area, because like I said, like I could get to Southern California faster than Northern, and breaking that down, that's where I was like, oh wow, it's all these orders because they're actually getting there 2 or 3 days early. That's when they were pinging me. If it was one day, that was fine. That was the buffer, but it was tons that were like 2 days early. And then that's what I got really dinged on.
You know what I started doing too? Like when I submit cases to them, I know that they're probably tired of me. Like I will legit send them a copy of their own policy and like
Right.
highlight it and be like,
Good.
no, this says before or on the delivery date. It got there before. It doesn't say 1 day before, 2 days before. It says before. So this got there before the delivery date. This needs to be discovered. And almost always that works. I've only had it not work like a couple of times, but yeah, sometimes you have to just tell them what their own policy is.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we all just recently, that valid tracking got goofed up because
Oh yeah.
USPS decided to recycle tracking numbers and didn't
Yeah.
delete old information. How were we all supposed to know that that was happening till it had already happened? And they did, luckily, because before with your performance, some things were like 7 days, some were 15 days, some were 30
Yeah.
days. And so they did finally like take my advice of making everything like consistently 30 days, like just set it and it is what it is. However, that ended up goofing all of us that had those valid tracking, that it hung out for 30 days. And so a lot of people, Walmart was holding their funds and we're all just riding the wave and waiting. And mine didn't get too bad. I think it got down to like 89%.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was like 20%, but it was enough for them to put it in their like monitor, mayday, urgent
Yeah.
category, which I was like, what happens when someone's down to like 20%? If urgent is at 89%, what's
They
like
literally no. I saw so many people's accounts getting suspended during that time frame because
Yeah.
theirs were, and it wasn't even that low. Like it was like I think like 80, 75. I think some people were like 60%. And their accounts were getting suspended and they had to submit plan of actions on how they were going to avoid this from happening again. And I was like, wow, that is like
I'm going to
insane.
change USPS and I'm
Yeah.
So your performance metrics are super important because it is like your lifeline, like literally for your account. You will be suspended, and some people I've even seen get terminated because they're valid tracking. I think they use that a lot for drop shippers, like to find if people are drop shipping. So like I for that specific one to be bad, I think is a big deal in Walmart's eyes versus like the other categories that it could be.
yeah, since they have such
But
a high number, that makes sense.
yeah. And then also, did you see the email that went out yesterday about now they are auto enrolling everybody in I forget what they called it, but essentially it's like automated on-time delivery. So they're pulling an Amazon where they want the customer to like know to the minute basically when their package is coming. You
Nice.
can choose to opt out of it, and they gave you instructions on how to opt out, which of course don't work when you go to
Great. I was
follow the
going to ask you if you
instructions.
tried it yet.
When you go to follow the instructions, it's not there what they say to opt out. So
What?
everybody will be auto enrolled. I think it's the 14th, I think was the date on it. So
There goes our lag time.
I'm hoping that I'm gonna open a case about it that it's not working, and I'm hoping
Okay.
that we can just opt out because I don't have enough faith in them and their processes yet that this will do what it says that it's gonna do.
Wow.
And then they get there late or early or whatever, and then now it's against you and no. So yeah,
Yeah. No, thank you.
we'll see.
Emily, you want to talk about, like, I know you do all WFS. Like, how's performance look on the WFS side?
It's funny because those metrics are really solely based on merchant. And a lot of times I'll go into my metrics and it just says not available. For
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
cancellations, valid tracking, seller response not available. They don't
Wow.
have enough data. So those are like really mostly affected by your merchant. However, I have a lot of cases open that I have to pay attention to from Walmart that will say, we got this shipment, one of these things were not inputted correctly. You need to create the listing again. So I'm not necessarily getting messages from customers. I'm not dealing with, order was shipped late, but I'm more dealing with Walmart. The
Interesting.
customer service there when things aren't, it wasn't packaged correctly, was damaged. The only other metric that will pop up is refunds. And I think that's funny because it's like completely out of my control. How often an item, and I sell products, I'm in a category that does have a higher refund rate. So that's kind of like, I don't know how to control that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
So
yeah.
my percentages will sometimes be higher than it's supposed to be. But again, what am I going to do? And there's nothing that's ever really come from it. But yeah, a lot of times, like right now, I'm looking at my performance. It says, not available. So
Wow.
definitely it's more merchant.
That's good to know.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, and if I remember correctly, that was kind of their answer for everything from the seller conference last year was like, just send it in WFS. Just send
Yeah.
it in WFS.
It was. It
So
was the answer
clearly
for
that is
everything.
that's the answer because her metrics are coming up as not available.
Yeah. Oh, you're having valid tracking with this carrier? Just send everything WFS. Why are
Just
you
send
not
it
sending
in.
everything in WFS? Well,
Are you getting pro seller, Emily, or no?
Yes, I am. And I will say that
Okay.
is the benefit of, I don't know if I have it now just because I created so many shipments and from when I was like going to leave on my last trip and I have more sitting here and Brandon forgot to drop them off, which it's not his fault. So I was like running out of inventory. So that would be the main reason to lose your pro seller badge. You're no longer selling enough.
Yeah.
So I need to look, but yeah, I usually have pro seller because I'm not dealing with all of the issues that affect
The other metrics,
Yeah.
which is crazy when you think about it, but yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely set up for Yeah, I have ProSeller. So it's definitely set up for if you send in WFS, like they obviously want you to.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
rewarding you for doing that.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I don't have, and that's why I do that, because I don't have like any of the issues. Besides, I guess, price competitive. I'm looking at it now. What's the issues? I
Yeah.
have price competitive. Is
That's
probably
what my only issue is, which is what affects ProSeller. But ProSeller gives you a discount. However, I sell more by not having ProSeller because I haven't done crazy things with my pricing. I'm actually making more than the discounts ProSeller is supposed to give you. Which is
Yeah.
ProSeller going to give you the discounts on the WFS side? Because I feel like ProSeller's almost set up
Mm-hmm.
to give you discounts on more merchant.
You get them on WFS too.
You get them on WFS and you get a faster payout. So
Yeah.
they do give you, like, mine is up to 10% increase on my payout balance. So
okay.
I get discounts, all sorts
And
of
it
like
opens you up
incentives.
for capital offers too if you're ProSeller. Like you're supposed to be able to get like bigger capital offers.
I feel like I have it, then I don't have it, then like it's not
Same. It's not like
all over the
consistent.
place. And I'm like, the amount of time when that first rolled out, remember we were all panicking and
Yeah.
spending so much time trying to get the price competitive stuff up. And I'm looking and I'm like, this makes what number are they comparing this to? Like, okay, I have it at $19.99. You're saying it's bad price competitive, but it's $19.99 on Amazon, and I'm the only one selling it. And who are you comparing me to? You know, like
well, and then yeah, totally agree. And then like it's not even, I don't want to say it's not like worth it, but you're just putting so much time and effort and like is the benefit, does it outweigh the time that you're putting into it? And I think you have to evaluate that for your business, for your own business, to just make that decision if it does or if it doesn't. Because I think for some people maybe it could, but like for me, like sitting there submitting competitors and then they approve it and then it just gets unpublished again and then like playing that game, like this is a waste of my time.
Yeah,
I could be using this in so many other ways. So yeah, I think it just like it depends. I did notice though, once they removed, like put the catalog page back to how it was, my price competitiveness score went up. So that I think plays into what I was saying. Like I was saying this in our community that the report was pulling items that were retired into our competitiveness score. And it was counting those items, but they're retired. So like, why would I go through and change the price of retired stuff if they're retired?
Yeah.
So I think that goes to prove that that is exactly what was happening. But that's also where I get frustrated with that reporting too, because it's not accurate.
Yeah. I will say, now that you bring that up, that is a huge issue for me on the WFS side because I can't delete listings. So if they're WFS, you cannot fully delete them out of your catalog at all.
Yes. Yeah. I did talk to the product catalog team. It was a couple people from the team and they did say they are working on it. I don't know why this is so difficult for them. Like you would think that, okay, if they have it for seller, they should just be able to copy and paste for WFS, but it seems to be like some type of development issue that they are trying to work out. So they did say it was coming, but I feel like not fast enough, especially because you have limits. They gave everybody a limit on their like inventory. Obviously they're high. I think they're like 100,000 or something, like it's high. But
yeah, it was really high.
But it's like, I mean, at one time or another, or actually it's 1 million. At one time or another, like if you've been selling for 6-7 years on the platform, you could reach that number a lot faster than you think. Especially with WFS. So I don't know.
Well, my catalog looks like I have so much because I've, for the past 6 months, haven't been able to delete anything.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy.
I went through on Saturday or Sunday and just finally retired stuff that I had like sold through and just don't have anymore. I think it was like 250 items and I still had more, but it was just like when you get so far down on the page, it starts to like lag. So I just did that and then I was like, all right, I'll come back to it, and then just haven't come back to it. But I'm like, oh my gosh, even now looking at my catalog, it looks so much cleaner. Like I can just like go through stuff because everything that I've sold is gone now. So
You know, that's a hard part. I like it to look clean, and this does not always look clean. It's not easy to always filter, sort, you know, the whole, like, people are confused with where to see retired because it's not a separate tab, which I know you talked to them about maybe making it a separate tab. So yeah, I just wish things, I don't know, I wish reporting was more accurate. It gave us the dates. It was like, is it 30 days from today back? Is it got a 2-week lag of the 30 days? Like, there's just some of that. And that goes back to, like, Walmart loves to make changes and not communicate things to us. And I talked to them about that on our last call. And I said, that's great. You want to keep rolling out these things. However, give us a heads up. Like, when you change the whole look of the platform, and then, or the fact that you're saying our whole account help is performance, nowhere is that clear. Like, why is that not front and center when you log into Seller Center? Like, it should be right there. Here's your account health performance. Here are your metrics. Like, because we're so used to checking that, like, first thing on Amazon, because that's if you're getting paid or if you're not. If your business is running or not, that should also be so clear on the Walmart side. But
right. Also, a lot of people don't know that Walmart has a Seller Academy, and they don't do a great job at, you know, someone told me that like a year ago. Have you ever logged into the Walmart Academy? Like, no.
It's separate. It's not like easy.
Why wouldn't that be like a part of Walmart Seller Center?
It's not accurate. I read through that all the time on a daily basis. You guys know I'm like, I read everything. I read all the emails. I read the release notes. I'm that person. Okay. And then I report back.
Why we love you.
I'm like, hey guys, did you guys see that this is coming out? And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, don't worry. Here's the link. Because I want to know everything. I want to know what's going on. I want to know everything. And yeah, I will say they've gotten a lot better over like the last 6 months about letting us know what's coming. However, there's still a lot where they say, like in the release notes, they'll let us know, okay, this change is coming, this change is coming, but then a change all the way over here will come. And we're like, okay, but that wasn't in the release note. Like, where did this come from? And then my other issue too is when they make changes to the platform, or when they come out with new things, they're like, oh, click on Marketplace Learn or the Seller Academy, and you go to it, and the documents and the how-to steps and the help that's supposed to help you, it never aligns with what you actually see.
Yes.
So then you're like, for example, when they rolled out the new, like, how you add your items to your catalog, like, they're like, oh, click here to learn more. Well, when you click there, it still has the old UI on there.
It's the old.
And last time I checked, which was like a week ago, it still was that way. They have not updated any of the information. So like, it's not. That's why when they changed that, everybody was freaking out, because it's like, okay, well, how do you add products to the catalog now?
How do you use
like, you're
it
saying
now?
You can do multiple or you can do one, but like, how do you do it? That's why it's been so big for like people coming out with like YouTube videos, or even like certain platforms that are now trying to ease the process for WFS, because like, what do you mean? Like, how do we do this? So yeah, I totally agree that they need to be better in like communicating a lot of the changes that they make.
I've run into the situation where the URL say click here, and it is clicking to a really old, like how it used to be done years ago.
2021 articles.
Yeah.
You're like, what? Let's update the URL.
I know.
That's why on like the Seller, first of all, the Seller Academy, which in the Seller Academy and Marketplace Learn are two different things, which is also confusing, because why are they two different things? But whatever. The Marketplace Learn, I've noticed, is a little bit more accurate and usually up to date, but Seller Academy is taking it like way back, like 3-4 years back. And I'm like, it doesn't even look like this anymore. Like, how are we, what can we do with this information?
And I brought that up on the last call too with them, because we're talking about something new that's going to be rolling out. And I said, okay, I love this new idea. However, the fact that I can still Google search, and I'm like, remember, everybody that's new wants to charge a fee for a return, or what do you call it? Like a restocking fee. Yeah. You Google Walmart restocking fee, an article from, it's like 2020 or 2021 comes out where it's like, oh yeah, you're allowed to charge
you can do that
restocking fee. That article comes up first thing every time,
Yep.
but that is not the terms of service. Like, that doesn't exist anymore. You're not allowed to do that. And I was like, you guys need to go in and pull all this old information, because this is why you're getting, I mean, the amount of cases people are opening because you have old information out there.
Yes.
It's just a time waste. Like, you need to have everything clean and clean up what you have already in existence before you roll out more stuff. So,
yeah,
and the like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that's still out there. I'm like,
yeah.
The article about restocking, the last time I looked at it, it's been a while now, but the last time I had looked at it, it even says like in fine print that this is the most recent like information on it. And I'm like, because
wow.
when I first started selling on Walmart, I was confused by that, because I was like, wait, I could have sworn when I was in Seller Center it said that we can't charge a restocking fee. So then I went through, like, that's how I get all like rabbit hole into all this stuff, and I'm like, wait, no, we can't, like, this is old. So yeah, they, like you said, there's a lot of old information out there that they haven't cleaned up, and I think that's where the bigger sellers, the wholesalers, and all these people get really frustrated with Walmart, because they're like, well, we don't want to come to a platform that doesn't have its crap together.
Yeah,
like,
you can't even do this basic
Amazon
stuff.
Right, like Amazon, don't get me wrong, there's so many headaches with it, and there's so many things that like frustrate all of us as sellers as a whole. But what you can say is, for the most part, you know what you can and cannot do on Amazon. Like, you know what you can and cannot do to like get kicked off the platform. There's not really too much of a gray area there. Whereas Walmart, it's like, you wake up and your account's suspended and you're like, wait, what did I do?
Right.
And then you're like, you can't even find somebody to talk to figure out what you did. So,
and they won't even tell you. Like, half the time they can't even tell you. Like, you have
exactly
to figure it out. Or a lot of people, remember, they were just getting their account suspended and they can't even appeal. It's like, you've been terminated. You can't open a new account. You can't do anything. You're gone.
Yeah,
like,
and
what are they doing?
last week there was like a handful of people I saw in some Facebook groups who were saying their account they didn't officially suspend it, but they I forget the term that they use, basically like paused it, because they had an EIN, but the EIN was connected to a sole proprietorship. It wasn't connected to an LLC. Well, technically, nowhere in Walmart's terms of service does it say you can't have a sole proprietorship. It just says you have to have an EIN. So, like, then now people are like, oh my gosh, I have to go get an LLC. I think they give them like 14 days to go get an LLC. Otherwise, like, then their account was going to be permanently suspended. And so people are like, what the heck? Like, why'd you let me on the platform? So I've been like preaching to people, which you should have the LLC anyway, but I've been preaching to people, make sure you get an LLC. And people still will try to apply. And I'm like, I mean, you might get approved. You might, but how long are you going to be available to sell before you're shut down? So it's just like certain things like that. That's why I said I always try to find an article and then I send them their policy. And if this isn't your current policy, then you need to update everything so that this is not what we're seeing on our side, because this is what we're seeing on our side.
Yeah. Because that's what they always say to us too, like, open cases. We don't know unless you open cases. So I mean, I feel like we're just bugging the crap out of them this year, but I also feel like, at least now, like, when I go to the conference, if I bring something up, I can say like, hey, I opened a case. You can look through my history of how I mentioned that this was a problem. Like, we've had the new glitch this week of them kind of double listing inventory. You've sent something only in WFS and they're listing the same amount seller fulfilled and things are overselling. I'm having to cancel because I don't have it. I only sent it in WFS. So I'm opening cases for all of these. I'm sending screenshots and letting them know, hey, I'm going to have to cancel this and you're going to have to discore this. And they're saying, oh, well, it's not showing on your account to discore, but I have that case because guess what? In 2 weeks, that's probably going to show up on my account. There's definitely a lag, and then I can go back and say, hey, here's the case of when I had to do this. So go ahead and now you can discore it. So
this is why content like what we put out is so important, because we are actually selling and we're in the deep end of these issues, and there's not a lot of accurate information from any source. Walmart is sometimes outdated, and I'm seeing in the past month, people are now talking about Walmart on social media and they weren't selling 2 weeks ago. They weren't selling 3
Right.
weeks ago. And now it's like, it's the buzzword. So it's really important that good information and content is out there to direct people, because it's really hard to find right now. So if you are watching this from whatever platform, give us a like, share it with your friends. It helps us grow. It helps us get exposure, and we appreciate it when you show us the love back.
Oh, thanks, Emily. That's nice. I guess there is a reason. We're not just doing this because we love to talk to each other. We get on our like rabbit wheels of like, this makes me so excited in life. You should like it too. But yeah, we want to keep doing this.
Like, oh yeah, that's why we do this. Oh no. Oh no.
I'm just hanging out with my friends, you know? That's all.
No, we do that for free anyway.
I know. Yes. I know. Well, why don't anybody have any last thoughts, or we want to wrap this?
Wrap it up, baby.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.